Series assembly instructional video. Now I've got the actual instructions here with me, and I'm going to go through them step by step so it's as easy as possible to do. On the first page of your assembly instructions, there's a list of what's in your box. I've already taken what's in the box and I've laid it out here on the table just to make things a little bit faster for the video. And I've gone ahead and put washers on all my bolts just so we don't have to wait for me doing that. So the way that as we go through the assembly instructions, like it'll say 1 1/4" bolt or 1 3/4" bolt. That's the length of the bolt is measured from the inside of the head to the end of the bolt. So if you're unsure which bolt to use, the best way to do is just to measure them like that. I know a lot of the bolts are pretty close. There's only a 1/4 inch difference between the length of some of them. And it's essential that you do have the correct length bolt when you're assembling your sweeper. Now the tools that you're going to need for assembling this sweeper are two 7/16 inch wrenches and a 9/16 wrench and a 3/4 inch wrench. Now to speed things up in the video, I'm just going to use a 7/16 ratchet and a 7/16 wrench. You can do that also. There's also a measurement chart provided with your instructions to help you with measuring the length of your bolts. Now step one. It's the lower Y handle assembly, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be attaching your main sweeper handle arms to the magnet housing. So the first thing we'll do is we'll take our insert hex bolt item D. Now you can refer to the what's in your bolt list for which bolt is item D. What we do is we take your hex bolt and we'll put a washer on it. We're going to insert it through the handle. And then we're going to put on a handle mounting bracket right underneath, just like that. And then we'll take another bolt and place it in the other hole. So once you've got these assembled, you want to attach your handle so that the bend is coming in towards the inside, the middle of the sweeper, as opposed to assembling them backwards. So you just take your bolts, you insert them through the two holes. I just hold them both with my 2 fingers and flip it over. Then you want to put another handle mounting bracket over those 2 bolts. Put a washer on each bolt, and then put a hex nut on. And what you want to do is you just want to tighten these bolts up to get most of the slop out of them, so it makes the rest of the assembly easier. You don't want to go ahead and tighten these up yet because these items have to be loose until we complete a few more steps in the assembly process. That's fine there. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and do the same thing to the other side. We'll take our lower handle arm. Both of them are totally symmetrical. You can use the left on or the right on the left or the right side. We'll put a bolt through. We'll insert a mounting bracket on the back. We'll take that and insert it through the sweeper. I hold the bolts with my fingers, flip the sweeper over, install another mounting bracket, put a washer on each, and then put on a hex nut. And the same thing, I'll go ahead and just put those nuts on a little ways, not till they're tight though. And that's the end of step 1. This is step 2 of your Blue Streak Equipment Ecko Series Magnetic Sweeper assembly instructions. What we're going to do is we're going to attach the magnet assembly to the magnetic sweeper base that we've already attached our lower Y handle arms to. And what we're going to do is that we're going to take these washers, these nylon flange bushings. You notice there's 2 different sizes. There's the large one and the small one that came with your sweeper. We're going to take the large ones, there's 4 of them total, and we're going to insert them on the insides of the uprights of the magnetic assembly. Then we're going to take 4 of the small nylon flange bushings, and we're going to insert them into the hole on the side of the lower Y handle arms. There's 4 of these bushings, and you'll stick 1 of them on each side of both of the lower Y handle arms. Now once you got those in, you want to make sure they're pushed in all the way, and then these large flange bushings are open all the way. Then we're going to install the magnet. What you've got to do is I just set it in here so it's getting closely lined up. And then what you're going to have to do, that's why we left these arms, is I sort of get one side started, and then I sort of get the other one. You're going to have to sort of work the bushings a bit to get it so it assembles together, and then it just slides on top of each other. Then you grab one of your bolts, insert it through the hole, and what I do is I pick up these tabs and just move it around a little bit to get everything to line up, and slide your bolt through, and repeat the same for the opposite side. I'll take a washer and slide it over the bolt, and then insert a nylock nut onto the bolt. Then I'll take my 7/16 inch wrenches, and I'll just tighten that bolt up. But you just want to get it so it's not quite snug, because you don't want this. You don't want this to be tight at all, because you want this to be able to pivot freely. And we'll do the same to the other side. So you want to make sure your magnet's pivoting freely, and that's the end of step 2. Step 3 of the Ecko Series Magnetic Sweeper from Blue Streak Equipment Assembly Instructions. What we're going to do is we're going to install the upper Y handle assembly, the release lever, and the release rod. So the first part of this is we want to attach the upper Y handle to the lower Y handle arms. And we'll take the 2 3/4 inch bolts and insert them. And we'll take a washer, put it on each side, and a nylock nut. Now that you've got this installed, you can go ahead and tighten up these bolts. And then you can go ahead and tighten up the bolts that we installed in step 1 that connect the magnet assembly to the magnetic sweeper base. And you want to make sure you tighten these up after you tighten the top up. The next step is I take all of the small nylon flange bushings. It'll be all but 2 of what you have remaining. And I insert one in each side of the upper Y handle arm. I'll take 4 and insert them into each hole, one into each hole of the release lever. And then I'll insert 2 of them into one end of the release rod. So then I'll attach my release lever to the upper Y handle assembly using a hex bolt with a washer on it. So I'll insert it through my release lever, take that entire assembly and insert it through the hole in the upper Y handle that you put the small nylon flange bushings in. Then I install a washer and then put a hex knot on. Then I'll take my release rod, I'll stick a bolt through the forwardmost hole on my release lever. I'll insert the release rod with the flange bushings on it. Then I'll install a washer and a nylon hex nut. Now with these 2 points up here, you can go ahead and snug them up, but you don't want them tight because these still have to move freely. Basically, you just want to take all the slop out of the joint so nothing's moving around too excessively. Like you can see the back of it here, this is too loose, but the front here, there's nothing wiggling there. So that's what you want, but you still want some easy movement. So you can see how this all moves freely and it's still pretty stable, so that's exactly what you want. And that's the end of step 3. This is step 4 of the Ecko assembly instructions. We're going to attach the release rod to the magnet assembly. First we're going to take your remaining 2 nylon bushings and insert one in each side of the release rod. We'll take that and we'll insert it in between the 2 uprights in the center of your magnet assembly. We'll take your last remaining bolt and washer and insert it through. Put a washer on the other side and install a nylock nut. And you can go ahead and all you want to do is just get that on there. You don't want to tighten it up because you want that area to move freely. So once you get that snugged up a little bit, and you just want to make sure everything still moves freely, which it should. If anything's binding, you might have one of these sections is a little bit too tight, so you just back it off a little bit. And that's the end of step 4. This is step 5 of your Ecko Series assembly instructions. We're going to attach the wheels to the magnetic sweeper base. You take your wheel bolt and insert it through your wheel. One side of your wheel has a flange sticking out. You can see the difference. This side's dished, this side's got a bump sticking out. That's the side that you want riding against your magnetic sweeper. So you insert your wheel bolt. You can take it, you can insert into whatever hole you want. There's 5 different height settings. The bottom one is 3 inches and the top one is a 1/2 inch, and they're in 1/2 inch increments. So what I'll do is I'll set it up for 1 inch of height right now, which will be the second hole from the top. So I'll take it and insert it through that hole. Now I'll take my 3/8 flanged nut, insert it on the back side. I'll repeat the process for the other side. Put a wheel bolt in my wheel. Insert it through the same corresponding hole. Install the 3/8 flanged nut. And then this is where you can use your 9/16 and your 3/4 inch wrench to tighten these bolts up. You can tighten them up fairly firmly because you don't want your wheels falling off. And repeat for the other side. And that's the end of your Ecko Series assembly instructions.